If you don't get better today, nothing gets better tomorrow. Most people are stuck, not because they're lazy, but because they keep waiting for the right mood, waiting to feel ready, waiting for life to slow down. And while they wait, days pass. Progress doesn't happen by waiting. It happens by doing something that makes you better, every single day. This audiobook is made for people who are tired of just surviving the day. It's for people who want to wake up with purpose and go to bed with pride. You'll learn how to stop wasting time, start showing up with real energy, and fix the habits that keep you stuck. Every chapter is a clear, simple step forward. No fluff, no fake hype, just the truth, in your language for your life. Hit play and YouTube will know you're not here to scroll, you're here to grow, one honest day at a time. Chapter 1. Show up today even when you don't feel ready. You want to get better every single day? Then the first thing you have to understand is this: the progress you're looking for doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't care how you feel this morning. It doesn't ask if you're motivated. It doesn't ask if you're in the mood. Growth begins the second you decide to show up. Not when you feel good, not when everything's easy, but when you decide to step forward. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's heavy, even when your mind is dragging you backward. That's what separates the winners from the rest. They don't wait to feel ready. They move anyway. They show up to their commitments. They show up to their workouts. They show up to their plans. And they do it without needing applause, without needing comfort, and without needing every condition to be perfect. You don't get better by thinking about being better. You get better by showing up when it counts, and it always counts most when it's hardest. Most people wait. They wait for clarity, they wait for motivation, they wait for everything to feel aligned. And in the process of waiting, life keeps moving, time keeps passing, opportunities keep fading. You don't need perfect clarity, you need movement. You don't need motivation, you need to get started. That's the hard truth, and until you face it, you'll stay stuck in the same place. Now ask yourself this: how many days have you lost waiting for the right mood? How many goals have you delayed because you didn't feel ready? Think about that and be honest, because that's the starting point of growth. The moment you stop lying to yourself, the moment you realize readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. That's the turning point. You have to get to a place where your feelings don't control your actions. You wake up tired, but you still show up. You're nervous, but you still take the next step. You're unsure, but you still move forward. That's called being serious. That's called becoming a person who takes ownership. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. There's something powerful that happens when you show up, even when you don't feel ready. You start building confidence, not the fake kind that comes from compliments. I'm talking about the real kind, the kind that comes from doing the hard thing, the kind that comes from keeping your word to yourself. You look in the mirror and you know, I showed up today. I didn't hide. I didn't quit. I didn't run. That's a powerful feeling, and that feeling builds momentum. It builds trust. It builds identity. You don't rise by accident. You rise by choice. And the first choice is to act, right now, today, not later, because there is no perfect later. There's only now. This is where growth happens, not in theory, not in planning, but in doing. In showing up when you don't feel like it, in pushing past the fog and doing what's needed. You want real progress? Then show up when your mind says, stay in bed. Show up when your friends say, take a break. Show up when your body says, you're tired. That's the moment that matters. That's the moment that shapes you. That's the moment that forges real strength, not just physical strength, mental strength, character. You're not here to live soft. You're not here to float through life. You're here to grow. You're here to lead yourself. You're here to rise. But it doesn't happen by accident. You've got to earn it. And every day you skip showing up, you fall behind. You lose touch with the standard you promised yourself. You become someone who waits, someone who breaks promises. And deep down, you know it. But when you show up, even when it's rough, you start rewriting that story. You prove to yourself that you're not fragile, you're not soft, you're not controlled by how you feel. You become someone reliable, someone with drive, someone who is building something with their own two hands. That's what it's all about. And listen, you don't need to move mountains every day. That's not what I'm saying. But you do need to show up. You do need to do one real thing that moves your life forward, even a small step. If it's real, if it's honest, if it's consistent, that will take you farther than any big plan that never gets touched. You just have to stop breaking momentum. Show up, even if it's not perfect, even if it's slow. Just don't stay still. The real battle is always in your mind. That's the battlefield. The voice that says, you're tired, you can do it later. That voice that tells you, it's okay to miss just this one time. You have to fight that voice, because if you don't, that voice becomes your identity. And once that happens, it gets harder to climb out. But here's the good news. Every time you act, that voice loses power. Every time you take a step, even a small one, you get stronger. You don't need to feel like doing it. You just need to do it. And once you do it enough times, it starts becoming who you are. It becomes normal. It becomes your new standard. And when that happens, life changes. It's not luck. It's not timing. It's not motivation. It's repetition. It's habits. It's discipline. And all of that starts with showing up. Show up when it's cold. Show up when it's early. Show up when no one is watching. Show up when your motivation is at zero. That's when it counts. That's when you build your future. You've got to take this seriously, because every day you waste is a day you don't get back, and most people don't lose their life in one big moment. They lose it slowly, by skipping the things that matter. One skipped day turns into 3. One excuse turns into a lifestyle. That's how average is built. Quietly, slowly, without noticing, until one day you wake up and you're nowhere near who you wanted to become. Don't let that happen. You're better than that. You've got something inside you. You just have to act like it. You have to move like it. You have to show up like your life depends on it, because it does. Your job is to become consistent, not when it's easy, but when it's hard, not just when it feels good, but when it's uncomfortable. That's how you earn real results. That's how you get better every single day. Stop chasing perfect days. Start building strong days. Stop waiting for signs. Start acting like you mean it. Show up today, even if it's messy, even if it's slow, even if you're tired, even if nobody sees it. Do it anyway, because the person who shows up every day becomes unstoppable, not because they had everything figured out, but because they refused to give up on themselves. And that's who you need to become. Start now, not later. Show up, do the work, do it today. Because today is the only day that matters. Chapter 2. Handle what's in front of you without delay. If you want to get better every single day, then you need to stop pushing things off. Stop leaving things for tomorrow that you can handle right now. Because the truth is, what's in front of you is the only thing that matters. Not the past, not what might happen next week, not some perfect plan you're still trying to finish in your head. What matters is what's on your plate right now, and how quickly and seriously you deal with it. Every time you ignore what's right in front of you, you send a message to yourself. That message is "this doesn't matter," or "I'll deal with it when I feel like it." The problem is, that mindset doesn't stay small. It spreads. It becomes how you deal with everything. And suddenly, the small things you could have handled easily become bigger. Now you're behind. Now you're overwhelmed, not because life threw something new at you, but because you delayed dealing with what was already yours to handle. When you ignore something simple, like answering an email, cleaning your desk, finishing the workout you started, or having a hard conversation, what happens? You carry it into the next hour, then into the next day, and it weighs on you. You might not feel it clearly, but it's there. It's sitting in your mind, reminding you that you still haven't done it. That mental clutter steals your energy, your focus, your drive, and you don't even realize how much it's draining you. People think putting things off is harmless. It's not. It's a silent form of stress. Because your brain knows. It remembers what you didn't finish, and the longer you avoid it, the more resistance you build around it. Something that could have taken 10 minutes now feels like a mountain. And that's the trap most people live in every day. The key is to train yourself to respond fast. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to act. If there's a task sitting in front of you, take care of it, right now. If there's a decision that needs to be made, stop second-guessing it. Make the best choice you can and move forward. Life doesn't wait for you to feel confident. And results don't come to people who spend all day thinking. They come to people who execute. You've got to be honest with yourself. Are you using thinking as a tool or as an excuse? Are you spending time planning, or are you hiding from action? It's easy to tell yourself you're preparing, but if you're not handling what's right in front of you, that's not preparation. That's delay. You don't need a massive strategy to win your day. You just need to deal with the task that's staring at you. That thing you've been ignoring, handle it. That message you were supposed to respond to, do it now. That workout you promised yourself, get up and start. That deadline you keep skipping, block out an hour and knock it out. Real change doesn't come from what you dream about. It comes from what you finish. You're not lacking time. You're leaking time. And most of the time leaks happen when you ignore the small actions you could have taken right away. You check your phone, you scroll, you pause and do nothing. And while you do that, your goals stay untouched, your progress sits still, and your potential waits silently for you to act like you mean it. You don't need a new opportunity. You need to stop delaying the one you already have. The work in front of you might not be glamorous. It might be uncomfortable. It might feel small, but it matters. Because how you handle the small things shapes how you'll handle everything else. Discipline is built in the moments where you could have delayed, but didn't. The best version of you doesn't put things off. They step up. They show up. They do what's needed, not because it's fun, not because it's easy, but because it's right. You've got to start living with urgency, not panic, urgency. There's a difference. Panic is chaos, urgency is clarity. It's knowing that time is moving. It's knowing that progress only happens when you act. If something is in your way, deal with it. If something is your responsibility, own it. If something is in your way, deal with it. If something is your responsibility, own it. Don't hope someone else will clean it up for you. Don't wait until it's comfortable, because that comfort is never coming. The only comfort that matters is knowing you did your part, and the only way to earn that is by handling what's yours fast and with focus. You can tell a lot about a person by how quickly they respond to life. Some people avoid, they escape into distractions, they tell themselves not now. Others step in. They see the mess and clean it. They feel the fear and move anyway. They don't wait to feel ready. They build readiness by doing. You have to train your mind to stop negotiating with delay, because once that habit creeps in, it grows fast. And the more you feed it, the more powerless you feel. You'll start thinking you're lazy, but you're not. You're just stuck in a loop of delay, and the only way out is to break it with action. You don't have to feel motivated. You just have to start. Take 5 minutes, focus, handle one thing that's been waiting, and then do another. Build a pattern, build a streak, build pride. Because when you start handling what's in front of you, you start gaining momentum. And momentum is what makes everything easier. Not because life gets lighter, but because you get stronger. You want to win the day? Handle the day, not in your mind, not in your dreams, in your actions, with your time, with your choices. There's power in doing things now. There's power in keeping your life light and your mind clear, and that power comes from refusing to carry things that you could have already dealt with. No one is coming to do it for you. This is your life, your goals, your responsibility. So stop scrolling past your potential. Stop hiding behind distractions. Take control by doing the thing that's right in front of you, even if it's boring, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it takes effort. That's the price of progress. That's how you get better. Not someday, not soon, but today. You don't need more motivation. You need movement. You don't need more knowledge. You need follow-through. You already know what needs to be done. You've just been waiting for a better time. But there is no better time. There's only now. Handle it, clean it, finish it, face it. That's how people who grow think. That's how winners move. That's how you take the next step toward becoming everything you know you can be. You don't rise by accident. You rise when you stop delaying, and the only way to stop delaying is to take control of the moment in front of you and act on it like it matters, because it does. It always has.
Chapter 3. Fix the small mess that keeps slowing you down. If you want to make real progress in your life, you've got to stop ignoring the little messes that are quietly holding you back. The truth is, it's not always the big problems that slow you down. It's the small ones you keep avoiding, the unfinished tasks, the clutter in your room, the unanswered messages, the disorganized plans, the habits you know aren't helping, but you haven't cleaned up yet. These are the quiet weights. You carry them every day, and most of the time you don't even realize how much they're draining you. That mess, the one you've been stepping around, the one you keep telling yourself you'll get to eventually. It's not just a mess, it's a block. It takes your energy. It clutters your focus. It makes you feel stuck. You tell yourself it's small, it doesn't matter, but your brain doesn't forget. Every time you walk past it, you get reminded that something's out of place, that something's not handled, and that feeling adds up. When your life is filled with unfinished things, your mind becomes foggy. You try to focus on your goals, but that weight pulls on you. You sit down to work, but you feel unsettled. You think you're distracted, but really your brain is tired of holding on to all the things you haven't dealt with. One drawer that's a mess can make you avoid an entire task. One decision you keep delaying can stall your entire week. That's the cost of leaving messes behind. Fixing the small mess isn't about being perfect or becoming obsessive. It's about taking your life seriously enough to clear the things that interrupt your flow. Because progress doesn't just come from what you add, it comes from what you remove. You don't need more to do better, you need less friction, and most of that friction is self-created. You made the mess, you left it there, now it's time to clean it up. Look around you, look at your space, look at your calendar, look at your habits. Ask yourself, what small mess have I been allowing to sit here? You already know what it is. It's the thing you keep telling yourself you'll handle later. It's the tab you won't close, the pile you haven't sorted, the call you won't make. These things are not just annoying, they're slowing you down, not physically, mentally, emotionally. And if you're serious about improving every day, you need to take that seriously. When you clean up one small mess, you create room to breathe. You clear space for better thoughts. You stop carrying that invisible pressure. And when your life is lighter, you move faster, you think clearer, you respond better. It's not about being organized for the sake of appearances. It's about getting rid of the nonsense that holds you back when no one's watching. You want to be consistent. Start by removing the obstacles that break your rhythm. You want to feel motivated. Get rid of the distractions that drain you before you even begin. You want to think clearer. Clean the environment that surrounds you. You can't grow in a mess you won't admit. You can't level up in a system that's falling apart. And it all starts with being honest about the little things you've ignored for too long. Most people live in a loop. They avoid one thing, then avoid another, and then they start losing trust in themselves. That's the hidden danger of mess. It doesn't just clutter your space, it clutters your belief. You begin to feel like you're the kind of person who doesn't finish things, and once you believe that, it affects everything you touch. But the good news is this: every mess you fix builds that trust back. Every drawer you organize, every task you close, every file you sort, every problem you resolve, it tells your mind, I follow through, I clean up, I handle what's mine. And that's how you rebuild your confidence. Not by dreaming big, but by handling small. Not by rushing into new plans, but by finishing the ones you already started. You don't need a fresh start. You need a clean system. You need to tighten what's loose. You need to take care of the details that keep tripping you up. And this doesn't require talent. It just requires attention. It requires care. It requires you to stop pretending these things are too small to matter. They matter more than you think. When you're living with mess, your energy gets scattered. You forget things. You miss deadlines. You feel overwhelmed. Not because you have too much on your plate, but because your plate is full of things you never finished. Clear it. Reset it. Make room for what actually moves you forward. Progress isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it looks like cleaning your room. Sometimes it looks like making a list of the things you've been avoiding and finally checking them off. Sometimes it looks like fixing what's been off track for weeks. You don't need big moments to grow. You need clean moments, clear moments, finished moments. One of the most powerful habits you can build is follow through. When you say you'll do something, do it. When something feels off, fix it. When something needs your attention, give it. Don't leave things halfway. Don't leave your future self to deal with what you could have closed today. That's how you fall behind without noticing. Not because you're lazy, but because you didn't take the mess seriously. You want your mind to be sharp, then stop feeding it with chaos. You want your actions to be strong, then stop walking around problems you could have solved in 5 minutes. You want to grow daily, then take care of what's in your hands now, no matter how small it feels. This isn't about productivity. It's about power, personal power, the kind of power that comes from knowing you're in control of your world, that your life is not being run by leftover tasks or invisible stress, that you handle things, that you clean up, that you care. Fixing small messes also builds momentum. When you finish something, even something minor, you feel lighter. That lightness creates space, and that space gives you room to focus, create, move, and lead. You don't have to carry the weight of 100 little things anymore. You start breathing better, thinking better. You show up better, and that shows up in everything you do. The small mess you've been ignoring might not seem like much, but every time you walk past it, you're making a choice to delay, a choice to carry a little extra stress, a choice to stay distracted, and over time, those choices define your pace, your peace, your direction. If you want to go faster, clean up. If you want to go deeper, clear the noise. If you want to go higher, stop building on a messy foundation. Clean it first, fix it, finish it, then build. That's how strong growth works, and that's how you start becoming the person you've been trying to be. Don't underestimate the power of fixing what's small, because small things grow. If you fix them early, they stay small. If you ignore them, they grow into stress, into chaos, into reasons why you can't focus. That's not how high performers operate. That's not how self-respecting people live. They clean their life up. They don't let things pile up. They don't wait until it's overwhelming. They stay light. They stay ready. You've got more in you. You've got better in you. But you can't access it if you're buried under mess you refuse to fix. Start simple, one thing at a time. Open the drawer, return the call, clear the inbox, clean your room, fix the system, close the task, finish what you started. Not tomorrow, now, because every second you wait, the mess gets heavier, and every time you clean it, your path gets clearer, and when your path is clear, there's no limit to where you can go. Chapter 4. Follow through on the things you said yesterday. If you're serious about growth, if you truly want to get better every single day, then you must follow through on the things you said yesterday. Your words mean nothing without action behind them. It's easy to talk, it's easy to make promises when you're feeling inspired, but what separates people who grow from people who stay the same is this: one group finishes what they said they would. The other just talks about it. It's not about how motivated you felt yesterday. It's not about how clear your vision was when you wrote those goals down. What matters now is whether you meant what you said. That's where self-respect is built. It's built when you keep your word. Not to impress someone else, not for validation, but because you refuse to be the kind of person who says one thing and does another. Every time you break a promise to yourself, it chips away at your belief. You start to doubt yourself. Not because you don't have potential, but because deep down you know you don't follow through. And once that pattern sets in, it's hard to trust your own words. That's when goals start to feel like wishes. That's when your plans feel fake. That's when you stop taking yourself seriously. You have to understand something. If you keep saying things and not doing them, you'll eventually stop believing you can change. It doesn't matter how much potential you have. If your actions keep proving your words wrong, then you're training your mind to see yourself as unreliable. And that's one of the most dangerous places to be, because once you lose trust in yourself, you hesitate, you avoid, you make excuses, you shrink. But there's another side. When you do what you said you would, even the small things, you build something powerful. You build internal proof. You show your brain that you're serious. You become someone you can count on. That kind of identity doesn't need hype. It doesn't need motivation. It just shows up and does what needs to be done, because that's who you are. Your future depends on what you finish, not what you start. You can write down goals all day. You can plan for months. You can say you want change, success, freedom, strength, but if you don't follow through on yesterday's words, it's all noise. What did you say you'd do? Did you say you'd wake up early? Did you say you'd work out? Did you say you'd finish a task, make a decision, fix a problem? Then you owe it to yourself to do exactly that. Most people underestimate the damage of broken commitments. They think if no one saw them break it, it doesn't matter. But the truth is, you saw it. You remember, and every time you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," when you clearly said today, you weaken your standard. That's how you start lowering the bar without realizing it. Growth starts with responsibility. If you said it, it's yours. Own it. Don't push it. Don't twist the meaning. Don't justify your way out of it. Finish it. Not because it's urgent, not because someone's reminding you, but because it matters to your own self-image. And here's the part people forget. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. If you said you'd write for an hour, and you only have 30 minutes, then write for 30 minutes with full focus. If you said you'd have that conversation, and you're nervous, have it anyway. Even if it's not smooth. Do what you can, but do it. The habit of showing up matters more than the size of the action. Following through is about proving to yourself that you're not full of empty talk, that when you speak, you move, that your words carry weight. Most people want others to respect them, but don't respect their own word. They want success, but keep skipping the steps they promised themselves. They want confidence, but live in patterns that create doubt. You build confidence by being someone who follows through. You build discipline by finishing the work you planned yesterday. You build momentum by closing what you opened. It's not fancy. It's not complicated. It's just action. Quiet action. Consistent action. Every time you follow through, you get sharper. Your mind becomes clearer. You don't waste energy second-guessing or explaining. You're not constantly reorganizing your priorities. You already know what to do. You already committed to it yesterday. And because of that, you don't need to start fresh every day. You just need to honor your decisions. You don't need more goals. You need more completion. You don't need more ambition. You need more follow-through. You don't need to keep restarting. You need to carry your promises to the finish line. This is how high achievers move. They don't let words sit unfinished. They don't forget what they committed to. They keep their own score. They hold themselves accountable, even in silence. It's not always going to feel exciting. Sometimes the thing you said yesterday will feel heavy today. You'll be tired. You'll want to change plans. That's the test. That's the moment that defines you. Not when it's easy, but when it's hard and you still finish anyway. You don't rise by doing more. You rise by doing what you said you would. That's the structure that keeps you stable. That's the system that keeps your life aligned. You start trusting yourself. You stop hesitating. You stop second-guessing every step. You start leading yourself. People spend so much energy chasing motivation. But the truth is, motivation is nothing without discipline, and discipline lives in follow-through. If you're not finishing what you start, then motivation is just noise, empty inspiration with no results. Start with something simple. Look back at what you said yesterday. What did you promise? What did you write down? What did you say out loud? Now